everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this very special edition of ET Now. Today we have lined up a very insightful conversation with the founder and CEO of One World Online. It's essentially a blockchain-based advertising and engagement platform that combines native advertising and research into highly efficient marketing tool, and it also comes up with very exciting incentives as well. So in the rapidly changing dynamics of the world today, such new age companies like One World Online will play a pivotal role in shaping the future. How exactly that is, let's find out from founder and CEO. We have Alex Fedosseev joining us right here on ET Now. Thank you so much, Alex, for coming on board. Great to have you on the show today. So before we dig deeper into what the company does, if you could tell us about the thought behind founding a platform like One World. Who are the founders and what essentially was the journey like?
Yeah, thank you, Karunya, for having us on this show. It's exciting. We really love to work with Indian and partners and providers. So it's great to have a conversation with the audience. Yeah, One World is an 8-year-old company, which was founded in Silicon Valley by the people that actually had a few successful previous exits in the field of Internet of Things, smart home, cloud services. We worked together, and the previous company was acquired by Motorola and then by Google. And we were thinking about what to do next. What is the biggest theme? What is the biggest need to build a company that will be really in high demand? And we decided that the big question of the day is about the feedback from people, about what they really think about various events, about what's happening. Because I always felt that we consume a lot of information. We read a lot of news. We get information from the internet, but there is no whole dimension. We don't understand what people think about it. What is their reaction to the news? And I thought that we should build a service that allows it quickly get people's feedback and build a whole engagement and excitement around this people's opinion about what's happening. That's how One World was born. It was back in 2012. And now we have a lot of customers, major deployments around the world. And we think this is still a very, very important thing to understand people's opinion on different topics, both on the commercial side and just for your own benefit. When you consume the news, you can see what people think.
Right. So how exactly does the platform work? And if you could tell us a little bit more about what to expect.
Yes, we built a software platform that is modular. And I believe in decentralized systems. I think centralization, all this concentration of power and technology in the hands of just a few companies, is not a healthy trend. I think the world of the future world is going to be decentralized. And we provided this type of solution when it's modular. You can easily embed One World widgets or modules into any site and get interactive experience. So people read the article and they have a question, so they can vote and express their opinion. So immediately it becomes a two-way street. So people can consume information, they can express their opinion, and then a lot of intelligence coming from it. So these modules, we call them widgets, are deployed now in many, many sites around the world, mostly in the United States, but also in India, Asia, Europe, Latin America. We're launching in Africa. So modularity is a big thing. But we also have other products. We have some insights that allow you to analyze what people think and why. It's coming in the format of insight pages, which are really interactive and very nice. So you can see, for example, what people think in New York versus California versus India versus other places on the planet. And we have many other interesting formats, and we have open API. Unlike many other companies, One World allows you to build your own experiences as a publisher or as a brand and use our platform for good.
Okay, that sounds quite exciting. How do you generate relevant content for publishers? Because right now there is so much clutter out there when it comes to advertising and even ad tech for that matter. So how does that work? And what's the process that your team follows? Do you have any specialists following up with different companies and different genres?
Right. Content is the king. Of course, we need to have good articles to match good poll questions. And so we have a variety of options. So first of all, we have a pretty diversified content team that creates top polls of the day every day. So if something happens very important, which is in headline news, we're definitely going to have a set of questions about that. But we also allow our publishers to create both public and private questions that become part of the library. And we have tens of thousands of questions in this library to choose from. So publishers are contributing. And also we allow crowd contributions. So if publisher wants to open this opportunity for their readers, they can suggest questions. And once they accept it, they're going to be awarded for contribution. And on top of this, the final and the most powerful thing we have is the AI. We have artificial intelligence engine that allows you to look at the article and find the most matching question. So as a result of all these options, we built a really comprehensive solution. So you can always match a good article with a good poll question and a good advertising. So it comes very organically as experience. You read it, you react to it, and there's also monetization option.
Okay. Why don't you share with us some of your experiences, especially if you could, talk to us about your experience working with Indian clients?
Yeah, so there's a lot of experiences that we're creating right on the front end and the back end. And in many ways, we are differentiated from other solutions on the market. First of all, we have very wide diversity of formats. It's not just about the poll questions. We provide quizzes or trivia feed, which is really great for sports and entertainment. We also provide debates when not only we ask a question, but we also allow two sides of the story. So you have one expert on one side, another expert on the other side. So you can compare opinions before you vote. And we also have the open API, so people can adjust and use our own technology and put their own front-end experience. The important thing about our economy is that it's also incentivized. This is very unique because people around the world, actually, when they contribute online, usually they get nothing. If you participate in Facebook or Google or other social networks, you don't get anything, right? You just keep contributing and put in your post, but there is nothing for you at the end, right? You keep sharing, but no rewards. One world believes this is not good. I think people should be rewarded for everything they do online. And that's why we developed our token system, which is the essential reward engine. When people vote or share or contribute or do anything that brings benefit to the publisher, they get rewarded in tokens, which is a true cryptocurrency. They can be redeemed into the cash or some other goods and services. So this is very unique. I think that's the future. And we talked about this, right? We need people to be motivated and actually gain something from their online activities, especially in the countries where even small amount of reward might be definitely making a big difference, especially during the hard times like COVID-19. I think people deserve to get something for what they do online, right? And not just be sensors in the hands of Facebooks and Googles and the likes, but rather be participants, not just readers.
True. Could you also tell me what have been the key learnings from your interaction with Indian clients? I mean, how are things happening differently here, and probably some gaps that you aim to plug with your technology education?
You mean the gaps that we cover with our platform?
Yes.
Yeah, could you please refine the question? I mean, how we can address the gaps?
Yes. What I'm trying to ask you is, how's it been working with Indian clients, and how do you look to plug gaps here, given how rapidly the advertising and marketing and engagement industry is rapidly evolving?
Right. Yeah, that's another very good topic. Yeah, how we combine engagement and advertising, because this is a big challenge. Advertising industry is struggling. I mean, let's be honest. The banner advertising, all this type of digital ads, they're degrading continuously. There's less and less people clicking on this advertising. So brands spend a lot of money, but they're getting very little return on investment. And this is definitely a really big problem for the whole industry. So what One World believes we should do is always start with engagement. Before you advertise anything, you have to engage people. You really need to build conversation so people start responding to your question. People need to be involved, right, in what you offer to them. The article, the poll question, and then some analytics around it. And when people are vested, when they're really engaged, then there is time to advertise. And that's exactly what we do. We build this organic experience between the article, the poll question, and advertising, so it's all relevant. And it all pays attention to how people interact with the system. And as a result, we have much higher conversions because it doesn't look alien, right, to people, because they interact with the site, they provide their opinion, and then at some point, when they decide to click on advertising and transition to some offer, there's already some conversation going on. And I believe this is the right way to treat people, because people are not stupid. People understand when advertising is really irrelevant and it just takes them away from the good content, a good experience. They don't like it. They never click on it. And more people installing ad blockers. What you really need to do is to build relationships. You have to build trust between you as a publisher and or brand and the audience on your side, and then become an honest relationships, right? So people benefit, you benefit, and it's a win-win.
Right. So what exactly is it that makes One World different from other advertising platforms? What kind of a customer advantage you might say?
Yeah, so we are much more transparent and honest system, because when we offer our solution for brands, for example, right, we give them a tool, not just to promote something to their readers, to their customers, their audiences, but also give them incentives for engagement and contribution, and we can give them tools for doing so. So we trying to bring this value to the equation. So it's not just advertising to people, but also giving something to people. And we have quite a few case studies organically showing that the conversion rates are going like 5x, 10x higher than the industry standard. And that's, I think, the only way to go forward, because people, they value honest relationships and the incentives. And yeah, so we essentially have case studies that were built in US and India and other parts of the world around these concepts.
Building stronger faith in advertisers to use digital advertising, that also is a big hurdle right now. Just like I had flagged up earlier, there is a lot of clutter in this business that you're operating in. So how do you aim to sort of build that trust with that point?
I'm really sorry. Yeah, couldn't catch the question. It's the quality is not coming.
So I'll just repeat that. Alex, what I'm trying to understand is building trust with advertisers is extremely key. Given the technology, given the host of different things that we carry out as a platform. So how are you doing that at One World?
How we use technology to enhance experience? Sorry.
No. Am I audible to you? Can you hear me, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so hard to hear.
I'll just try and repeat it. I want to understand, how is One World trying to build faith with the advertisers?
How One World wants to do what about advertisers, to bring advertisers?
Building trust with advertisers.
How to build and charge them?
Yeah. Building trust with advertisers.
Oh, building pipeline, building the business with advertisers?
Trust.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sapna or Adesh, would you mind? Yeah, there's some really strong echo coming in. I hardly hear. Yeah, sorry about the Zoom quality. Adesh or Sapna, could you please repeat this question if you heard it better?
She's asking for building the trust.
Oh, building trust. Got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Karunya, yeah, I apologize. Yeah, so building trust. Okay. Look, this is very good question, because yeah, trust is everything, right? The brands and audiences, they really need to talk directly. And the problem with the advertising industry today is that just too many middlemen. There's so many companies in between the brand and the audiences. There's like DSP, SSP, DMP, all kind of exchanges, right? And agencies and so on. And I think at the end of the day, brands don't get the value that they want from advertising campaigns. And I think Times Group actually has a very good vision. That's how we started our relationships back in 2015, when the management of brand capital in Silicon Valley recognized that One World does is a whole different level of relationships that can build trust, to your point, because we allow brands to run the campaign and get the feedback at the same time. So we essentially combining two projects together, the marketing and the research, right? In the past, usually were two different unrelated activities. First, brand is trying to promote their products and services. And second, they're trying to research the audiences and get the feedback from them. So we believe that can be combined into one project when you do both. When you actually establish communication to your customers, right? You get their feedback about your offer, about what exactly you have to propose. and you give them details about what is your new product, what you offer, and you get two things coming together, right? Your promotion is working and you're getting your feedback. And that actually establishes the trust, because you hear your customers, you can react to their needs. You understand what they like, what they don't like about your offering, real time, essentially. So I think this approach is a winner. That's how we build trust.
Okay. So can you talk to us about your some of your success stories? Because you came to achieve about the 5x to 10x conversion rate for advertisers. So how does that work?
Yes, thank you. Success story is important, right? And we had quite a few. And I should say that we had quite a few in India and quite a few in the United States. And usually it comes together with good placement, good creatives, right, and good messaging. And for example, back in 2017, we ran a very successful ICO, the initial coin offering campaign in India, and we aligned it with the Diwali holiday. So the message was that there's an era of digital assets coming in, and people should really consider it, kind of transition from offline to online world. Even back in 2017, there was already a very big theme, right? That everything is going to be online, and your asset will be online, your investment is going to be online. And we built a tremendous conversion rate, like more than 2% actually, which is unthinkable in traditional digital advertising world. And very similar in 2018 and 19, when we ran some of the campaigns for our US customers, for fundraising or for some promotion services, we usually jump from what's considered to be in traditional advertising 0.2 to 0.5% conversion, and 0.5% is considered to be success. For us, it's a failure, because we think 0.5% is way too low. So usually we start our campaigns, the good ones that are built correctly, with the good creatives, the good targeting, at 2%. And I think that's the way we should be. And there's no secret of how it works, right? Because interactive is always better than static. If you ask people a question and you establish conversation, you establish engagement, it always goes a long way, right? So your advertising that is common as a part of this organic experience works much better. So these are the case studies we built all around the world. Bless you.
All right. Just going back to the technology part once again. Blockchain, now it sounds really complicated to a layperson, even perhaps many of your potential advertisers. Can you tell us how the technology exactly works?
Yes. Yeah, look, I'm a big believer in blockchain. I think we should be very serious about it, right? Because there's nothing better in the world today than blockchain, because that's the first time in the human history that there's a way to keep a public ledger and something that cannot be altered. So any smart contracts, any relationships, any transactions can be in the public internet and not altered by anybody. This is so big that, I mean, not many people really fully understand it, but it's a game changer. So for me, this technology solves many problems. Number one, you can manage your assets online, right? For example, tokens or cryptocurrency or any kind of security or asset-backed tokens. And this is unique, right? Because we never had the solution before. Also, second thing is that you can do some records or public ledgers on the internet, and that's a huge as well. So from my point of view, there is a big transition from internet of information to internet of value, or internet of money, as many people call it, right? And I want to refer, because I know that we all like predictions, and we know what is happening next. We like to hear about what's the future, right? Where should we put our money? Where we should put our effort? You probably know George Gilder, one of very top experts in the United States that predicted mobile revolution, that predicted semiconductor revolution back in Ronald Reagan era. He wrote the book about the mobile revolution 10 years before iPhone was introduced. Very recently, he wrote a book called Google, Life After Google, okay? And he's talking about, we have two scenarios of our future. One is like big data, centralized world, with a big brother like Google sitting on top of everything, collecting data from around the world and making some interesting, intelligent decisions out of it. This is not the world you want to be in, right? This is the big brother world, and it's not really good for people. Or the other option is to have a blockchain-based decentralized world. When I have internet of value, internet of money, people can do immediate transactions anywhere in the world, between the countries, between different verticals, very quickly, easily, and also have the information on the internet, which can be altered. So blockchain is a data structure, and blockchain is a keep information about the values, right? And I really agree with George Gilder that this is the future, that we do not want to allow centralization to continue taking over. We want to actually decentralize it. We want people to take advantage of this, the companies to benefit from it. And it's much more robust system, by the way. Decentralized systems in general are much more robust and not subject to failure if anything goes wrong compared to centralized system. Okay. And very much, you probably remember back in the early 2000s, when there was a fight between the open source community and Microsoft, who won? Of course, open source community, because it's backed by people, it's decentralized, it's a community created value. And so I think we're going to see the same thing for blockchain. It's going to win. One Vault is going to be one of the companies that support it, and many, many, many others. And that's what we call Web 3.0 revolution, because there'll be many applications that will be token economies or public ledgers and many, many other applications built on blockchain. It's imminent. It's going to happen.
Alex, would it be possible for you to sort of carve out a clear-cut difference with respect to your experience of working with an established large company vis-a-vis one of the startups and freshly budding companies? How are the needs for both of them different, and how do you cater to that?
Yeah. So just to understand better, you talk about established big companies versus the startups, how they're going to compete? Yeah, excellent question. Look, I came from the startup world. I worked in startups for 20 plus years, and every time I was able to beat big companies. 2 companies ago, my company called 2Wire beat Cisco. We actually produced better product than Cisco for the broadband connectivity. And we became #1 in North America and then #2 in the world. Next company for smart home, I got Verizon as a customer investor, and we became #1 solution in America. Again, even though we had some competition for big companies. I think big companies have a problem because they're too slow and too difficult to make decisions and move forward. I'm not afraid of any big companies in our space at all. I think it's actually the advantage to be a startup because we can move fast, we can partner with the right companies, we can make decisions quicker. And actually there's a big appetite from investors to invest in the next generation of companies, like what we call Web 3.0 versus the legacy, right? The era of, very much remember the AOL and Yahoo that used to be dominating in internet world, and where are they today? So 10 years from now will be a joke to even talk about why Facebook and Google and others are dominating, because they're not going to be. They're going to be the next generation of companies that came out of this crisis, and they're going to be taken over, because decentralization, Web 3.0 is going to be a kind of becoming the big theme. So being a startup today is an advantage, not disadvantage. And I love to compete against big companies because I was doing my whole career for 20 plus years.
Okay. Talking about investing and wanted to understand, you've introduced One World tokens. So what kind of cryptocurrency is that? And considering that there are still a lot of speculations and, on a daily basis, we see different kind of news developments taking place with regard to cryptocurrencies. Do you think One World tokens would achieve the desired acceptance?
Yes, that's a good question, because tokens are more volatile than shares and equity, that's for sure. But there's a big difference between tokens that are just for speculation and tokens that are ABT, or asset-backed tokens. So One World is ABT. We have a real asset behind this token, which is 1 CPM. One token equals 1 CPM, which means that anybody who has a token, they can get 1,000 ad impressions from our network, which is really big. So we have Newsweek and IBT and Times Group of India and Singapore Press Holding and many, many others, right? So that's one advantage, because that's a real asset that you can use. And the nature of our token is also two-sided, because it's on one side, it's a loyalty program. So people that do something in our network, they earn these tokens. But on the other side, it's a discount program for brands. So we have both supply and demand, and we can link together. And I think that makes it really complete. You're right, not all the tokens are really valuable nowadays. And it's normal, because very much like .com era, you have a first wave, which was very few companies that survived. And they have a second wave, when a lot of good companies actually produced real, good applications and became very famous. So very much the same thing happening now. The first wave of tokens issued in 2017, I think there was only 10% that's still on the market and actually doing applications. But the good news is now the second wave coming in 2020 is much stronger, much more mature. And I think the underlying technology, the blockchain, and all the tools and applications are much more advanced. So I think for people that really watching the blockchain, the token economy, my only advice is not to look at the near-term situation, but also look long-term, because we're all about long-term play, right? It's not about making money like immediately or between the upside and downside. It's more about, okay, build the real solutions, bring them to the market, and have real value behind token. And then I think, by the way, India is very innovative in this sense, because there are many companies in India are doing great applications. I know some of them. And same goes for Silicon Valley. It's a truly international effort, right? So we're building this next generation applications around the world.
Right. So, how do you see, the company and your growth trajectory taking up? What are your future plans like? And how do you see One World evolve as a platform and company in the next, say, a decade or so?
Yes. Yeah, of course, future is exciting because I feel that post-COVID-19, we're going to have amazing opportunity for all the next generation companies to grow fast because the landscape is changing, right? There's more demand for online solutions. There's more demand for token economies. When people online, they want to participate on those marketplaces, applications, and the interesting solutions. So my vision is that we continue being growing very much like we do already in different regions. We're already very strong in North America and India. We're going after Africa big time today. So we have big regional growth. Same goes for Asia. We have many proposals already outstanding and launching quite a few accounts. But what's mostly interesting on the product side, I think our widgets, our modules are becoming so general, so universal that we can put additional value in them. So they can deliver not just poll questions and quizzes, like interactive stuff, but also any kind of content. So my vision for One World is become the universal content delivery system, almost like an Uber for content, because I think this is number one use case for all publishers. Not only they want advertising, that's of course a given. They want more content. They want content come from some good sources with a good quality and connect to the marketplaces, which don't exist today. That's a huge gap, right? And all publishers need good content. So my vision is One World will continue growing into this area, so we can deliver a variety of different content objects. We call it interactive media unit. So we can become essentially Uber for content delivery around the world.
All right, Alex, and all the very best for all that you set out to do. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I love your TV show and your publications. I think India is going to be an exciting place to grow together.